Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're diving into something pretty wild, a paradox that affects all of us. We're going to talk about why thinking, the one thing our super powerful brains are supposed to be great at, can feel so hard. Let's get right into it. Okay, so let's start with a feeling that I'm pretty sure you've had. I mean, we're the species that composes symphonies that sends rovers to other planets. We're supposed to be smart, right? So why is it that sometimes just sitting down to focus on one thing feels like, well, like an impossible task? Well, the source material we're looking at today suggests that this struggle, it's not some personal failure. Nope. It's actually a feature, not a bug, of our evolutionary design. See, this modern idea that we should all be able to just, focus for hours on end, that's a brand new thing. And it's a huge demand to put on a brain that was built for something totally different. Okay, so to really wrap our heads around this, first we've got to understand just how, well, weird we are compared to the rest of the animal kingdom. We're what you might call unnatural animals. Think about it. Most animals, they're living completely in the moment. They're all about instinct. They're hungry, they hunt. They sense danger, they run. Their entire world is the immediate here and now. But us, humans, we use our intellect to operate across these huge stretches of time and space. We're constantly planning for the future, for things that might not happen for years or even decades. And it's this intellect that lets us just completely override our basic instincts. I mean, take a parent investing in a child's education. That is such a complex, long-term gamble, right? It's the total opposite of the survive today mindset that drives pretty much every other creature on the planet. And this is what really makes us unnatural. Other animals, they adapt to their environment. We reshape it. We build massive cities. We create these global communication networks. We develop these incredibly intricate cultures. We're not just living in the world, we are fundamentally redesigning it from the ground up. So yeah, we've established that we're pretty unique. But here's the kicker. While our world has just transformed at this insane lightning speed, our basic brain wiring, it's basically stayed the same. It hasn't caught up. This timeline really puts it all in perspective, doesn't it? For something like 99% of human history, our brain had one main job: survive the day. That's it. It got really good at short, sharp bursts of attention, spotting a predator in the grass, finding the next meal. This whole idea of sitting still to learn abstract concepts for hours, that's a tiny fraction of our evolutionary story. It's brand new. So here's the main takeaway from that. Our brains literally evolved to be distractible. Yeah, the ability to switch your focus in a split second wasn't a bug, it was a feature. It was a massive survival advantage. It's what kept our ancestors alive, alert to both dangers and opportunities. So our brain's natural state isn't to be zoned in on one thing. It's to be constantly scanning and responding to everything. And that right there explains why modern tasks, like studying for an exam or trying to code, feel so exhausting. They put this huge load on our brain, they force us to ignore a million distractions, and they just lead to total mental burnout. And to top it all off, they almost never give us that immediate reward our ancient survival brain is craving. All right, so we get the mismatch now. Our ancient brain is living in a modern world. Now let's talk about the actual hardware that's doing all of this heavy lifting. Because the mind is, well, it's an incredibly intricate web. Just look at that number. 86 billion. That's how many neurons are firing away inside your skull right now. And they're connected by something like 100 trillion synapses. It's one of the most complex networks we know of in the entire universe. And what's crazy is that this network isn't even static. It's constantly changing. It's called neuroplasticity. Your brain is literally rewiring itself all the time based on what you do and experience. Now, that's amazing for learning and growing, for sure, but it also means the brain is an incredibly dynamic and really energy-hungry organ. The philosopher William James once called the human mind the most complex system in the universe, and he was onto something. It's that sheer complexity that makes deep, focused thinking so demanding. So listen, it's not just you. Thinking hard is a genuine physical source of stress for your body. Yeah, unlike, say, physical work, which our bodies are pretty well designed for, really intense thinking is this super high-energy process that our system basically flags as a stressor. It just pushes our working memory to its absolute limit, and that's what leads to that feeling of mental exhaustion and even anxiety. Okay, so if our brains aren't naturally built for the kind of deep thinking modern life demands from us, what are we supposed to do about it? Are we just doomed to be distracted all the time? Well, no, not at all. Here's the most important thing to remember. Focus is not some magical talent that some people are born with and others aren't. It's a skill. That's it. And just like any other skill, you can develop it, you can strengthen it with practice. Think of it like a mental muscle that you have to actually choose to train. And the best way to do that is to work with our brain's nature, not against it. So step 1, just acknowledge that this is hard. It's supposed to be. Step 2, build an environment that actually supports focus. Get rid of the distractions. And step 3, practice. Build that mental endurance with regular, deliberate effort. Once you really understand this paradox, this ancient brain trying its best to navigate our crazy modern world, it makes you ask some really big questions. And maybe the biggest one of all is this. If our brains weren't built for the way we do school, then how should we be building our schools? Now that is something to think about.